Right then, this is a quick walk around video for a Honda Cr-V 2-litre EX automatic. You can see here this is the facelift version, so it comes with the new style alloys, front end treatment and interior upgrades as well. And it's finished in this really sought after deep sapphire blue metallic, full contrasting black leather interior on the vehicle. It's a very handsome looking car with just 47,000 miles on the clock and a full Honda service history. Front of the car is very clean with only the odd very minor mark which you're going to pick up over the years. Stone chipping is absolutely minimal. It's really very clean indeed. And to come down the near side of the car first, generally very clean in the panels. Front wing absolutely unmarked. Front near side alloy very good indeed. Just a couple of little marks on a couple of the spokes there. But nothing that detracts. I mean, it is the near side front alloy, and that's the one that's going to get any clout at all, to be honest with you. Excuse the watermarks running down, it's nature of the beast, unfortunately. And then near side rear alloy, again, very good indeed. Come around the back of the car, and all very nice indeed. And around to the off side of the vehicle. Again, in terms of sort of any scratches or marks on the car, is very good. Offside rear alloy, absolutely as clean as a whistle. And then the rending panel work is generally very good. And finally, offside front wheel, very clean indeed. So for a car that's 9-10 years old now, it's in very good condition, very original condition too. Coming to the back of the car, again, huge boots on the car, on these Cr-Vs, 60/40 fold obviously on the rear seat. It's got all its original equipment in there, as you can see, centre shelf and tonneau cover. Coming to the back of the car now, again, being kept very well. I mean, these are family cars, and quite often you see the back of these seats quite badly marked where kids have put their feet on the back of them, but this one's been kept very well indeed, and a huge amount of rear legroom obviously on the Cr-Vs. Leatherwork in the back here, absolutely stunning condition. It's coming into the front passenger side now, again all been kept very well. Footwell area is all very nice and clean. The front passenger seat there exhibits virtually no wear at all on it. Coming to the driver's side now. Obviously the door card on this side will exhibit more wear than the others, just by virtue of the fact that the driver's in and out the whole time. The seat itself is in excellent condition with the bolster exactly as it should be for this age and mileage of car. Obviously electrically adjustable seat on the driver's side as well. So inside the car now, engine's running through this section so you can actually see the dashboard illuminated, but the dashboard's in wonderful condition. On these later versions, in this little cubbyhole up here, you've got a little USB lead there so you can play music through your phone and charge up at the same time. Sat nav system you can see up working absolutely perfectly. In fact, I'll close the electric blind above so you don't get so much of a reflection. If I pop it into reverse, you have that lovely clear colour parking camera, but all working absolutely beautifully. All the little recesses, everything's been kept really very nicely on this car. You've got the heated seats, obviously they work absolutely perfectly on the vehicle as well. If I come across the main dashboard binnacle, hopefully you can see there, 47,416 miles, and there's absolutely no warning lights on this vehicle at all. Auto lights, auto wipers, multifunction steering wheel with information display, cruise control, audio and hands-free functions as well on there, but it's been kept really very well indeed. Just to quickly show you, owner's manual pack, and very importantly lock and wheel nut key is here and present with the car. So finally, just to come under this wonderfully presented engine bay by Honda, an engine bay that you can actually get into and work around if you need to. Mechanics love them because it makes basic servicing so simple. More about this engine in the following road test video. Right then, this is a quick road test video for a Honda Cr-V 2-litre EX automatic. This particular car is registered BT59VCV, and mileage at the start of this road test is 47,403 miles. Reason for doing the road test basically is so any prospective buyer gets to see the very car we're advertising in operation. We're very well aware that lots of our customers come from not just the UK but also Europe as well, so the least we can do is go to the time and effort to do this for you. This gives us an opportunity to relay back any issues there might be with the vehicle prior to coming to us, so you're not kind of surprised when you get here, because we've been caught out ourselves, and it can be very, very frustrating indeed. The road test is also done on the very quiet, apart from that lorry, country roads very close to our premises, so hopefully it'll be representative of what you'd feel yourself if offered a test drive on the car. As you probably know from the advert, the car's been wonderfully maintained throughout its life by the Honda main dealers, and it's obvious. Very second you drive the car, it feels incredibly tight and taut on the road. Engine fires up absolutely immediately, of course, typical Honda engine, settles to completely smooth, even idle, pulls absolutely beautifully through the entire rev range, as these VTECs always do. In operation, it's actually hard to get across on the video sometimes. It just what a lovely unit they are. They're so sweet and docile in nature, but they have a real punch to them sort of further up the rev range. But the higher the revs go, that doesn't mean the engine becomes strained. It's quite the opposite. The engine truly kind of sings through its revs. It's a wonderful, wonderful engine. Pardon me. Obviously cam chain driven, so there's no cam belts to worry about in these cars, and a reputation for reliability which is absolutely unmatched in its class. I mean, these will last huge mileages with just normal regular servicing. Worth pointing out, there's no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car. Temperature gauge is running at a third or thereabouts, and that's exactly where it should be on a Honda car, whether it be petrol, diesel or otherwise. So the engine, absolutely spot on. Automatic gearbox, again, you'd expect from Honda it to be good, and this one certainly is. Very smooth shifting, very slick in operation. You should still do the same checks on a gearbox that, regardless of how good their reputation might be. So just make sure that all the gears engage really smoothly, there's no sudden thumps or clunks, and notably when selecting first and reverse, hot and cold, just make sure that again there's no delays or thumps in engagement. There's nothing on this at all. With this mileage on a Honda, you wouldn't expect anything, and it isn't. It's a very, very slick shifting gearbox. Steering on the car, which is a real positive on the CR-Vs. This is old school and I love it. It's before they went to electronic power steering, and it just is a lovely, fluid, beautifully weighted power steering system, which I can detect absolutely no wear in it at all. It just feels, the whole car just feels almost as new to drive. So that lovely sharpness about it. Steering track's absolutely bullet straight. There's no vibrations at all coming back through the steering wheel at this or any speed up to the legal limit. We always ask the drivers that deliver them to us to ensure that at motorway speeds there's no vibrations, because it's a pet hate of mine, in all honesty. I can't abide it. But this drives absolutely beautifully and there's nothing at all. The steering's really, really well judged and matched to the chassis of the car. It's quick enough to be positive, but it's not so quick that it doesn't unsettle passengers. The chassis is a perfect blend of a very comfortable ride, but with very secure, very flat handling. It really goes through corners without a huge amount of body roll. Because a body roll in these means that rear passengers would be sort of flung around, and any kids are prone to car sickness knows exactly what that means. But these are brilliant in that respect. Also on test drive, what I'm looking for or trying to listen out for is any kind of clonks or thuds from underneath the vehicle coming through the suspension that shouldn't be there. That's normally fairly innocent stuff, just like little anti-roll bar links or little rubber bushes, but there's nothing on this car. It's utterly silent. The only things you hear is actually hitting the bumps and nothing thereafter. brakes on the car are very, very good indeed. There's no pulsing on the brake pedal. There's no vibrations coming back through. One thing we have noticed, the front brake pads are a little bit on the low side. They'd probably pass an MOT and probably without an advisory. But when it goes in for service this afternoon, new front brake pads are going to be fitted to this particular vehicle. So they're probably not due, but we're going to do them anyway. Just checking the cruise control function. That works exactly as it should, which is always good news. Looking around inside the car, you know, I've always loved the interiors of these because they're a bit like me. They're incredibly simple, beautifully made. There's not a chirp or a squeak or a buzz from the interior at all. It just feels rock solid in here, and this is real build quality. You know, 8-9 years down the line, a few thousand miles under its belt, and they still feel like new to drive. And that's not the same with every manufacturer, even those with apparently great build quality. But it's just so wonderfully simple to use. Everything's working exactly as it should. Air conditioning pumps out lovely cold air. Sat nav and rear camera working absolutely exactly as it should as well. Heated seats, 2 settings, warm and hot, again working perfectly as well. Coming across the dashboard, all the pixelation, all the readouts working absolutely spot on. Lovely, simple, clear dials in true Honda fashion. Really nice, simple. You know, the whole feeling you get from the car is it doesn't kind of alienate you or intimidate in any way. It's just a really simple car to operate. You've got auto lights, auto wipers on these particular vehicles, so you can just set them and leave them. But everything, as I said, working exactly as it should. For those that don't know, and you probably do, I mean, these are 4-wheel drive vehicles, albeit Honda very, very quickly, and bearing in mind that they're the world's best-selling SUV manufacturer, and the Cr-V is the best-selling SUV in the world, so they know their market very well. They also know that most of their customers will drive exactly as I'm doing now, in perfectly good conditions on perfectly good roads, and that counts for probably 99% of everyone's driving. So why have a permanent 4-wheel drive system constantly whirring away, chewing up tyres, putting strain on the mechanics, and, you know, using up fuel where it's not needed? So this car, as with most cars, is running in front-wheel drive, the most efficient way to pull a car along. Only as and when 4-wheel drive is required will it do it for you. There's no switch to press, there's nothing to engage. It senses the front wheels starting to spin, brings in the rear wheels to give you 4-wheel drive utterly seamlessly. And I've had tons and tons of CR-Vs in my ownership, and I've towed some caravans across some pretty muddy pitches, and I've never come close to getting stuck in a CR-V. They're absolutely brilliant. The beauty of the system, of course, is its simplicity, and in its simplicity is reliability, because we've never touched a 4-wheel drive system on a Honda that uses this 4-wheel drive system, and we've sold thousands of them with varying mileages from very low to very high. It is a utterly brilliant system. At the start of the video I said this is a critical video, so to pick up on any issues there might be, having driven the car before and also given the service history of the vehicle, it comes as absolutely no surprise to say there's nothing to report back. The car drives absolutely beautifully, and I genuinely mean it drives as close to new as you could ever reasonably expect a used car to do so. You know, both myself and my business partner Tony used to work at the local Bristol Honda dealership, so we know these cars inside out. So if there's anything not quite right, we do know about it, and we are absolute enthusiasts about these vehicles. Having said that, if I've missed something on the video, don't hesitate, please give us a call and we'll happily answer any questions you might have.